Hello, my fellow entrepreneurs. Monica here from Consulting Monica. I'm back with some amazing informations for you guys. So, we're here in this beautiful forest. Hopefully, we're not gonna have a bear surprise, I have an obsession with bears. Anyway, so I still wanted to talk to you about some things regarding your health, nutrition, and the body. So, for a couple of weeks, we're gonna be talking about the body because it's a very complex machine and we need to take care of it and we need to keep it in balance. Now, regarding the body, last time, like I said, it's very important that we understand how this system is designed, how this body functions, how it works, and so that we can use the proper kind of fuel, so that we can put into it the proper kind of food, so that we can have the energy that we need for our business, for our lifestyles, to sleep less, to have more energy, to be more agile, to have more stamina. Oh my God, look at this road. Yeah. Spring is coming, baby. Okay, so not our tongue shouldn't dictate what we eat, but what is the best for this system. Now, what is best for this system, like we talked in the last episode, is that it's best to put into it the kind of fuel that gives us energy and boosts our immunity system and all those things. And that would be fresh fruits and vegetables. That should be at least 50% of our nutrition. Now, ideally, it should be 100, but there are people who can't, who can't adapt to that kind of lifestyle. So then we would go lower, like to 50% or maybe 25%. I'm keeping it to 50, and I feel amazing, and I want to increase it, but because I eat too many fibers, I have like sort of digestive problems because of that, so I'm still accommodating to that. Now, I want to explain you a little bit why our system is designed like that and why it functions at its best like this. Now, let's talk about our digestive system and how it's structured so that you can understand. So, there are herbivores and there are carnivores, right? Now, the carnivores, if you noticed, they're the length of their intestines is shorter than the herbivores, and they can only chew. They have only cutting action. They don't have grinding action. So herbivores instead, they have the length of their digestive canal like 5 or 6 times longer than the body, and so do we if you study it. And they also have grinding action, so they chew a lot. Now, why is chewing important? Because there's an enzyme in our saliva that starts turning carbohydrates into sugar, into glucose right there into our mouth. So the digestion starts in the mouth, and I know this sounds incredible, but 50% of the digestion could be done in the mouth if you chew it properly. And when I say 50%, I mean that the stomach will receive 50% of digested food. So that's why it's important to eat properly. And hello, mister. I'm not the only one in this forest, so there can't be any bears, right? Okay, my friend is here with me too, so he has a gun and he'll protect me if it's necessary. Just joking, but he is here. Okay, so 50%, right? Now, our digestive system is much more similar to the herbivores than the carnivores. Now, what does that mean? That we should eat more like herbivores and less like carnivores, okay? So let's talk a little bit about meat. Now, if you put a piece of meat in your room, let's say raw meat, right? If you put a piece of raw meat in your room, imagine what's going to happen to it in the next 72 hours. Now, if you would eat raw meat, it would take 72 hours to go through your digestive canal. Hold on here, someone is writing me. Go away. Okay. So imagine what would happen to that piece of meat in 72 hours. And imagine that in your body is always summer. So the heat is high, the humidity is high. So imagine the fermentation process that would take place. Now you're going to say, I don't eat raw meat. Of course you don't eat raw meat. But take a piece of cooked meat and put it in your room on your table and keep it there for 50 hours because that's how long it's going to stay in your system. 50 hours. Now, in 50 hours, a lot of putrefaction is going to happen there in your intestines, and the body is going to have to reduce that bacterial activity, and that's going to be a lot of stress on the system, and it's going to be a lot of wasted energy, that you could have used for something else. So that's, in this regard, meat is not good for the system. It's not that it's unhealthy or something, it's just not made for our system, okay? Now, in terms of survival, it's okay to do it, but you don't really need it. Now, if you must eat meat, okay, I recommend fish. Hold on. We have activity here. Okay. I recommend fish because fish is the easiest to digest and to integrate and to assimilate into our system. And it also has the 3 types of fatty acids, which the other meats of the other animals don't. So eat fish. If you must eat meat, I recommend to avoid it. Now, let's take vegetables. Now, vegetables, even ideally, you should eat them raw. But even if you cook them, if you put some vegetables in your room, at the room temperature, and you keep them there for 25 hours, not much is going to happen. Little fermentation will happen, but not much is going to happen. That's how long they stay in your digestive tube, 25 hours, plus or minus, okay? So that's why you're much better adapted to digest vegetables. If we take raw vegetables, what's going to happen to raw vegetables if you put them on your table in 15 hours, because that's how long it takes for them to go through your digestive tract? Not much in 15 hours, right? So if not much is going to happen in your room, not much in terms of fermentation and bacterial activity is going to happen in your body. And that's good for your body because you don't have to waste extra energy to deal with that bacterial activity, right? And it's not just the bacterial activity. The cell regeneration happens at its best when your stomach is empty, right? And without, if you're always, burdened with digestive issues and stuff, then your perception is going to go lower. If your perception goes lower, then your ability to perceive life the way it is and to experience it at its maximum, and for your body and mind to function at its best, it's going to go lower. So that's why I'm saying again and again, we have to start with the body, we have to start with the nutrition, we have to start with the health, we have to bring balance to this system, and then the rest will take care of itself if you took this first step. Now, like I said, raw vegetables, 15 hours. How long do you think it takes for a raw fruit? Between 1 to 3 hours, it will be out of your system. And you got the vitamins, you got the enzymes. Now about enzymes and cooked food, right? Now here's the problem with the cooked food. The food, when it's raw, it comes with certain enzymes that are used for the digestive system that your system doesn't have. And if it wants to have it, it needs to reconstitute it from that food that you ate. And that's going to take, again, energy. Now we want to save energy, not to waste energy. So that's why I'm saying that it's best to eat them raw, because then you have the enzymes and the body won't have to reconstitute them, and it can just digest them and assimilate them as fast as possible, give you the energy that you need, and again you will have an empty stomach. Now it's best to have an empty stomach because it's a survival mechanism. We evolved to be more alert and focused when we have an empty stomach, because long time ago, when you were hungry, okay, when our ancestors were hungry, they couldn't afford to be like, oh, I'm hungry, I don't have energy to hunt, I guess I'm just gonna lie down and starve. So that thing didn't happen. You know why? Because as an adaptation to that, we have a hormone called ghrelin, if you must know, that is secreted when we're hungry, that sends a message to our brain and increases the activity of our sharpness and alertness and stamina. So that's why when your stomach is empty, actually you function at your best. Hold on, the light here is not right. Okay. So that's why there should be enough space in between meals to allow this cell regeneration to happen, to have an empty stomach. That's why we want our food to get out of our digestive tract as fast as possible so that we can be fresh and clean as a baby's ass, as they say. Excuse my expression. So that's why it's best to have like at least an 8-hour gap in between meals. Now I know this sounds a lot and you're going to be like, what? After 4 hours I'm going to faint. No, you're not going to faint. If you eat the proper kind of food, if you eat between 50 to 75% raw food at every meal, and let's say you combine it with some cooked food, preferably still vegetables, but you know, you can add some proteins if you want, like fish or eggs or cheese, although those should be replaced with nuts and seeds. However you can do it. Now if you're gonna do this, you're gonna have a different kind of energy and a different kind of system. You're gonna see that sitting 8 hours between two meals is not that much. Your body is not going to ask for those nutrients. It's asking for it now every 4 hours or so. You're hungry because, you know, it wastes a lot of energy to digest what you give it to eat. And there's not much nutritional value. Only in those conditions, it's going to ask for more food. So this is how the digestive tract works. This is how the raw meat, well, we're not going to eat raw meat, but the cooked meat is digested, and it's best to avoid it due to fermentation activity and extra bacterial activity that we do not need. So it's best to eat raw vegetables as much as possible. You can also cook them, that's good. They still keep the fibers and some minerals. Now you should imagine that all the vitamins are destroyed at 40 degrees Celsius. So if you cook the vegetables, I don't think much remains there. So it's best to consume them raw. And if you eat fruits, of course, they should be raw and they should be on an empty stomach, right? Because we don't want any extra fermentation there, and the stomach is not going to release. If you eat now, let's say, a piece of fruit with a chicken leg, okay, let's say that's your menu for the day. Now the chicken is going to stay there. The stomach is not going to release the chicken until the apple or whatever you had is going to be digested. So it's going to ferment there a lot, and that's not good. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. And so let's recap. So between herbivores and carnivores, we are more like herbivores than carnivores. Of course, we're omnivores. If you want to make it biologically, yeah, we're meant, our system can digest both, but that doesn't mean that that's the most efficient thing to do. So we should eat more like herbivores than carnivores. Try to avoid cooked meat, and if you must eat meat, try to consume just fish. Eat as many cooked vegetables and raw vegetables as you can, and fruits, raw fruits. Keep a gap of 8 hours in between meals, and if you're gonna eat correctly, you're gonna see that you're not gonna really be hungry, and you're even gonna sleep less during the night. You shouldn't sleep like more than 6 hours per night if you're a healthy adult and you eat properly, and you know, you spend time in nature and you have a happy and joyful life. You shouldn't eat more than 6 hours, sleep more than 6 hours a night. And this is gonna make you also look fitter, and you're not gonna have extra fat, and you're gonna have more energy and more balance overall. So I hope these advices will help you. Please try to apply them in your life, and if you have a business, that's going to be even better for your business, because how you are will always be reflected in your business. How you are within yourself will always be reflected in your life. So it's very important to start with that. And how do we start with that? We bring balance to the body. If we have balance to the body, we're going to have balance to the mind and emotions and energies. And once you have balance in between these three, wow, the world will be yours. So thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you soon. That is, if I don't, I'm not gonna meet some wild animal around here. Okay, guys, take care. A big kiss.